Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking about my July favorites. As you know, one of my favorite videos to film, and I've got a lot of stuff in front of me. So let's just jump right into it. If you're interested in hearing what I've been loving this past month in terms of beauty, and I have one hair thing and one body thing and some brushes, then just keep on watching. Let me start with my hair favorite for this month. This is actually a favorite that appeared in favorites of mine maybe a couple months at this point, and a bunch of you actually have DM'd me on Instagram and asked me to follow up and, do I still like it? And the answer is yes, very, very much. This is the Hair Ritual by Sicily Revitalizing Fortifying Serum. This is like a liquid serum product, and it has this dropper in here. And you basically drop 9 drops along your scalp, 3 down the middle, 3 down the side, and 3 down this side. And you're supposed to use it for the first month every other day. And you're supposed to downshift and use it, I kind of forget what the pamphlet says, but maybe like once a week or every 4 days, something like that. But you're supposed to downshift. I just love it so much. I use it basically every other day. So I've had this since February 15th. I don't know why I remember that day. And I am more than halfway through, but I just love this. Not only do I kind of like look forward to using it because I'll put the drops in, I'll like flip my head over so I'm kind of just like bent over, and then I'll just sort of start to massage it into my scalp. And I just love having added that routine into my whole morning routine. So when I first talked about this serum, I was talking about how like we just don't pay enough attention to our scalps, and how I love that this product was kind of forcing me to, massage my scalp and really kind of pay some attention to it. Well, I can say now that I've been using it for 5.5 months pretty religiously. I didn't take it with me on my last trip, but I was traveling with it before that. I feel like my hair is so much more full at the roots. Like I can feel it. When you get into your shower and you start shampooing, you can feel if your hair is getting thinner, which is what I was feeling, I want to say last year. But since I started using this, in the beginning I thought, I don't really feel that much of a difference. I just really like using it. It smells really herbally. Again, I liked kind of paying attention to my scalp for once. But I want to say over the last month, like I feel like a thickness in my hair. I feel like I definitely have so much more hair than I did. I definitely still have gray hairs. I definitely lose hair, in my shower. I definitely kind of comb out a lot of dead hairs, but there's definitely a thickness. So my theory is it's probably just unclogging a lot of follicles, because I've never ever used any sort of like scalp care serum or exfoliator or anything like that. So I am just loving this, and when I run out of this, I'm definitely going to get some more. But I just love how like full and thick my hair is starting to feel. It's just been great, and I haven't changed anything else. And in fact, I stopped taking biotin vitamins. I still take a multivitamin, which has biotin in it. But for a while there, I want to say late last year, beginning of this year, I was taking an extra biotin supplement, and yeah, like I felt like my nails looked a little bit better or whatever, but my hair, I didn't really see that much of a difference. So I stopped taking it. I see more results with this than I did with the biotin supplements. So I'm a big fan of that scalp serum. The next product I want to talk about is a body product, and this is Rodin's luxury body oil that was part of their Mermaid Glow collection. This is limited edition. I think it's still available. I think I saw it on Nordstrom. If it's not, I'm so sorry. But this is made up of 3 different oils, as you can see. So you have to just sort of shake gently to kind of combine all the oils, and then obviously you just put it on your body. It has like a little dropper top here, and you just spread it around. So generally when it comes to body oils, I have to put it on when my skin is still wet. If I do it after, if I've like towel dried off and then I put the oil on, it's too much. It's like too slick. It doesn't absorb quickly enough, and it's like, I can't do it. All the other body oils I've tried, I have to use while my skin is still wet. This body oil, I totally dried myself off, and I was like, I forgot to put the body oil on. And I thought, well, let me give it a shot, because I remember using it and thinking it seemed like really fine. So I shook it up, I put it on my body when my skin was dry, and it was beautiful. My skin looked amazing. It stayed moisturized. It had this like subtle glow, but it didn't feel oily. It didn't feel like slimy or anything. I got dressed immediately. I don't feel like it got all over my clothing. So this has been my like after shower moisturizer that I've been using the past month. All right, so let's get into the makeup stuff. And again, what I did was I got ready today using as much of this stuff that I could, and I filmed myself doing that. So I'll have cutaways of the products that I have on my face that I'm going to to mention. If that makes sense. So anyway, let's get started with the first thing that I used, and that is the Air Flash Primer and Setting Spray Long Lasting Airbrush Radiance. And when I first got this, I was using it as a finishing spray, and it's gorgeous as a finishing spray. It gives your skin like a really beautiful airbrushed look, but I like the idea of it being a primer spray as well. Because I have dry skin, I use so much kind of like moisturizer and facial oils or whatever. The last thing I want to do is put on yet another layer when I'm getting ready in the morning, like another layer of primer, especially when it's really warm out and I feel like I'm kind of sweaty already. A spray is just really handy, and it's just really, really fast. So I've been loving this as a primer. I really feel like it smooths out my skin a bit. It just makes like a really nice canvas for anything I want to put on top. So I've been loving that. And I think some of these things I may have mentioned in my last month's favorites. If so, then you know I really like it. But I apologize if I'm being redundant. But this product I really love. This is the Terracotta Tinted Skincare Jelly from Guerlain. And this is a nice base. So this is something I would put down. Let's say if I was using a primer, put the primer down, spray or lotion or whatever it is. And then I would put this on all over my face with a brush. It basically just kind of darkens up my face a little bit. It probably amps me up like 1 or 2 shades at most. It's a really sheer jelly consistency, but I just really love it because it is sheer, but it's also effective. It's not too sheer where I'm like, why am I even bothering with this step? It's sheer in that I feel like you can't mess up, but there's definitely like a shade difference in your complexion. And I've recently put on some self-tanner. If you guys watched my video from Wednesday, the Westman Atelier video, there was a pretty big discrepancy between my face and my neck. And today I used this, as you can see in my footage, and it's a much better match. I am also using a different foundation, but this kind of thing really helps if you do like a subtle self-tanner, if you just want to like match your face up a little bit closer, but you don't want to run out and buy a new foundation. This is really great. And then I've been using basically the same foundations. And if you guys watched, again, my Westman Atelier video, you know that I used that the entire like last week of July. That stick foundation, I was testing it out. I traveled with it. That was the only makeup I brought with me. I didn't want to include that in July favorites because that was kind of the end of July. So anyway, the beginning of July, I was basically using the same things, and I remember me talking about these in my June favorites. But it's basically the La Mer Reparative Skin Tint and the Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow Moisturizing Tint. I think that's the full name. But today I put on the La Mer Reparative Skin Tint. I just love it. I love it. I've talked about this a lot. This also appeared in my top 5 favorite summer base products. That collaboration I did with the Glam Dr. Mona Khan. This appeared in there, the Chanel appeared in there, and some other ones that I also like to use. But yeah, I've just been reaching for this a lot because it is so creamy. There is like skincare in here. It's just really, really great. But I had been noticing that a lot of the shades for the reparative skin tint were, out of stock or back ordered on a lot of online retailers. I was in store, I asked Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks. They only had like 1 or 2 shades in stock. And I thought, what the heck is going on? I thought maybe there's just been a run on it because this I would kind of consider a summertime, summer friendly kind of product. But I think someone either commented on a video or commented on Instagram that La Mer is discontinuing this. So if that is the case, I'm going to be really pissed. They keep discontinuing their really good stuff. La Mer, if you hear me, stop doing that. Stop doing it. Bring back your old powder. Bring back your old concealer. Not that I mind the new one, but the old one is better. Don't get rid of this. Do not get rid of this. This is fabulous. So I'm hoping that's just a vicious, vicious rumor and that they're not getting rid of this, but I really do love this skin tint. And the concealer I've been loving. If you guys watch my concealer week, you guys know how much I love this, but this is the new Clé de Peau Radiant Corrector for Eyes. I have it in the shade Ivory and I love it. I have it on today. I think it is the most comfortable concealer ever. Most concealers, because they need to be pigmented, because they can't like fall into fine lines, there's a lot of kind of funky formulas when it comes to concealers. They're either very thick, they're very tacky. This one is so creamy, it camouflages, it covers up any discoloration I have, it doesn't sink into fine lines, it stays really, really moisturizing feeling. It's so nourishing. It's just amazing. I mean, Clé de Peau really, really does really well with like their base products. Their stick concealer is amazing. That has a much higher coverage than this one. You know how much I love their foundation. I'm actually going to be testing out their Radiant Fluid Foundation. I just got a whole bunch of samples trying to find my right shade, and I'm definitely going to be playing with that. I've just been so impressed with their complexion products. But if you are interested in getting this, I would say get it. Just get it. Give it a shot. It's wonderful. I love it. And then the powder I've been reaching for a lot is this Chanel Natural Finish Loose Powder. I think I've been reaching for it a lot. I mean, obviously I like it a lot, but because I was doing that concealer week, I wanted to use a powder that was really, you know, as translucent as possible, as colorless as possible, without any sort of finish or anything. And I still love my Clé de Peau, but that one has like a teensy bit of color to it. It's not quite as invisible as this powder. So I was using this a lot, and again, not regretting it. I really do love it. I have it in the shade, excuse me, I have it in the shade 20 Clair, translucent one, and it's just great. It's just a great powder, and it's what I use today. All right, and for bronzers, I have gone back and started using one of my all-time favorites. This definitely is in like top 5 bronzers, and this is the Sisley Sun Glow Bronzing Gel Powder. I have made quite a mess of the pan. You can see, you know, the design is still there, but it looks kind of crazy. I just love it. It's what I have on my face today. I think it's a great summertime. Well, I use it all the time, but it's very warm. It's just a beautiful tone. But the best thing about this is the formula. Like, this is so silky soft. Like, you really feel like you're just running your finger over silk fabric. There's the shade. It's so beautiful. And I have definitely mentioned this bronzer before, and some people have told me that they have a hard time picking up the product. I definitely recommend a stiffer natural haired brush. I have never had any issues with it. I will use either the Tom Ford bronzer brush with this or Sonia G's Sculpt One brush, that big fan brush, and I've never had any issues with it. And it definitely builds, but it also builds kind of quickly, so be careful. So if you go in, you feel like, I don't see anything, it's very sheer, and you kind of go in really heavy-handed the next time, it may be too much. Like, definitely layer it up slowly, because it is there. It is definitely there. You will see it appear on your skin for sure. And then the blush that I've been loving, and I feel like this came into my life pretty late in July. I want to say mid-July, but I've been using it ever since, except on my trip to Portland, but I've been dreaming of it. It is the Chanel Reflex blush, and it's so pretty. It has some shimmer in there. It's a beautiful peach, and it has that kind of gold overtone to it. I just put it on all over my cheeks. I am not shy with this blush. I just love it so much. I hope it's still available, but I love it, and I recommend getting it now. Okay, highlighters. This is going to be no surprise. The Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold palette. Absolutely love it. I basically dipped my brush into all 3 and just brushed that over the top of my cheeks. Sometimes I'll just go in with the 2 lighter ones, and that'll give me like a really frosty, icy kind of effect. They're just great. The texture is great. The effect that they give your cheeks, really awesome. And they're just absolutely beautiful on the skin. I love it. And you'll see that I like to use my Sonia G Sculpt 3 brush with it, because I really feel like I can like buff it into my skin really nicely, and I like working highlighter that way. I don't like highlighter that's just sort of sitting on top of my skin, so I generally don't use like those traditional kind of fan brushes that give just a very light application. I like really working it in, almost like burnishing it into my skin. So I've been doing that with the Charlotte Tilbury, and I've also been enjoying, this was kind of a surprise. And if you guys watched my review on the Natasha Denona Super Glow powders, you will have seen me kind of like gush over this particular shade, because I was just so surprised at how much I liked it, because I really thought it was going to be too dark for my skin tone. And it may be a little bit too dark for my skin tone, but that's not stopping me. This is the bronze shade in the Super Glow Duochrome highlighter. And here is that shade. So I don't know if you can see, like, to me it looks so orange in the pan, but when I swatch it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's just like straight up gold, the gold color. So it's just so much more yellow to me than it appears in the pan. In the pan it appears so much more orange, almost like the bronze shade in the Charlotte Tilbury. but it's really like just straight up gold. And I love it. And I actually have a little bit of it on top of the Charlotte Tilbury. Because why not? All right, what's next? Eyebrows. Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. I've been reaching for that a lot this month. I'm not going to beat that dead horse. But I've also been using the Surratt brow pomade, the Expressionist brow pomade. This was sent to me from Surratt. Thank you so, so much. This is something that I've been wanting to try because I have very long eyebrow hairs. I probably have to trim my eyebrows more than I trim my fingernails, but they're not especially dense. Like I have very long hairs, but I feel like I have a few bald spots here and there. And also because I trim them and I may not be the best at trimming, I feel like I get bald spots in my brows. Well, this has the best little comb brush type applicator. And it just brushes my hairs and makes them kind of stay put. And when I get the hairs in the place that I want, then it doesn't look like I have as many bald spots as I do. And like today, my brows are far from perfect, but all I have in here is this brow pomade. What I like about this too is that it is far from crunchy. It's not crunchy at all. It just gives like a thickness to your brows that makes them more malleable. It makes them kind of a little bit more behaved. It's great for those days that I really just don't give a rat's ass about putting makeup on or whatever, but like my eyebrows can very often look crazy. Like I'll wake up and one will look like it went clubbing the night before and I'm like, crap, like I have to do something. It's been great for that. Like just throw some of this in and it's awesome. And then eyeshadows, while we're talking about Surratt, I've been reaching for the lid lacquers. There's something about summertime that makes me really appreciate like that one color, one swipe kind of eye look. And so I've been using Koga a lot. This is the kind of metallic brown color. And that's what I have on my lids today. I've been using it with the Surratt sponge tip applicator, and this really does mimic a finger. And I just like being able to use this and really get it where I want it. It's great. I love it. I think some people were experiencing like creasing with it. I have noticed that if I put a little bit too much on, like if I'm a little bit careless and I just kind of like glop it on, it will definitely crease. If I use it in light layers and I really kind of like work it in, I don't feel like it creases. I don't know if that's just me, but it works really, really well. So I've been using Koga and the Shoe Eero, which is the red shade. This I don't use quite as often, but if I am feeling daring, I will throw this on. All right, one more eyeshadow I have been loving, and I don't know, I feel a little embarrassed to be talking about this quad in such a passionate way because it literally could be the most boring quad in the entire world ever created. But this is the Chanel new quad that came out with the matte collection for fall 18. This is in color 308 Clair Obscure. It's literally just 4 matte brownish shades, but I love it. I can get a complete look out of this. This is a great everyday look. I open this up. It's not confusing at all. It works beautifully. The formula is incredible. These shadows are, and I don't know if people talk about this enough, but these matte shadows from Chanel, I want to say these matte shadows from Chanel are like creamier than the Natasha Denona matte shadows. And they're so beautiful. They perform beautifully. They go on beautifully. They blend. I mean, they're pigmented. And again, I know these colors are super boring, but you will use them every single day. And I have used these almost every single day. All right. And speaking of Chanel, we are going to talk about a few more eye-related products. The Stilo Ombre et Contours, these are those like eye kohl pencils. This came out with the first release of them, and this is in electric brown. So this is like a brown metallic. And then this just came out with their matte collection. I think this may be limited edition, I'm not sure. But this is the Contour Clair color, and this is a more like subdued, cool brown color. I've been using both of these. If I'm doing a more subtle look, I'll use the Clair Contour. If I'm doing a more bold look, or if I want my eyes to be more defined, I'll use the electric brown. I have the electric brown along my lash line, upper lash line and lower lash line today. I just love them. They go on smoothly, the colors are beautiful, and they stay put. I have had the hardest time looking for liners that stay put like all day. I had come to accept the fact that by the end of the day, you know, I'll get like a little something along my lower lash line, and I'm like, oh, you know, I just wipe it away. Nothing. These don't budge. They're just absolutely amazing. Love them. Okay, and now mascara products. You guys know that I am not a mascara fan. I have this I just sort of ignore my eyelashes generally. But I got a sample of that new mascara base from Chanel. I think it's called La Base Mascara. I feel like I'm making fun of French when I say that, but I think that's the name of it. La Base Mascara. And it comes in this white tube. This has been a game changer for me. I have very straight lashes. I have very few lashes. They're not very long. So putting mascara on has always been just a nuisance and unhelpful, and there's kind of no point to it. And mascara is definitely one of those makeup products that I feel like if you don't get the right one, it just messes up your entire look. So I'm like, let me just stay away from that. I don't need that. But I got a sample of this first, and I decided to try it. I think I tried it on camera with you guys, and I was like, I'm not sure what this is supposed to do, but whatever, we'll give it a shot. I think a lot of my issues with using mascara in my eyelashes was that not only are my eyelashes all those things like I just mentioned, but they also don't just grow, you know, they grow down actually, but they don't grow straight down. Like all of my actual lashes are like crisscrossed. Like they don't even grow straight out. Like they're such a mess. So when I would go in with a mascara, like straight with a mascara, it just, I mean, it would get so clumpy, and I would sit there and like try and like kind of straighten out my lashes, and they would just kind of and like cross over each other again. And then they would turn into this like web of like mascara mess. And I think that was partially, or maybe mainly, why I really hated wearing mascara. And I could see it when I blinked. Like, it was just awful. So this mascara base, I don't think has necessarily kept my eyelashes curled longer, or I don't think they've actually done much for my eyelashes. Like, I don't feel like they've grown more or anything like that. But it's just made my mascara go on so much easier, because I think it makes them all at least like line up, and it's just made the world of difference. I didn't realize that that was such a big part of why I hated putting mascara on, but apparently it was. So this has been amazing. I started using this every day and then going in with some mascara, and it's really been great. This has really been a game changer for me. So this is the first kind of mascara base I've ever used. I don't know if there are other ones that are better or whatever, but I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. And now I'm like, can I start playing with mascaras? Can I start like a love affair with mascara? I think that would be a lot of fun, because it's something that I've always ignored and ignored for a very long time. But I feel like a whole new world has opened up to me. So I've been loving this, and I've been using it along with this mascara sample that I have of the Le Volume de Chanel. And this is a mascara that I used a long time ago. And again, you know, I was like, whatever, I can't be bothered with mascara. But this combo has been great. So I've been loving it. That's what I have on. And this little sample has lasted me at least a couple weeks now. So I'm really happy with this. I think maybe I'll go out and buy a new tube of this, an actual full-size tube of this, although I do have a bunch of mascaras that I should probably work through, although they may be old. Anyway, now I'm thinking out loud. So let's move on to lips. So let me start with what I actually have on my lips, and that is a combination of the Tom Ford Devore lipstick. But this is just one of my favorite nudes now. And the Tom Ford formula is just, it's so creamy, but it doesn't move. It's so pigmented, but it's not too drying. It's just perfect. And I've been layering it with the Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in Flesh 4. And I just love the combination. This Flesh 4 is basically like the gloss version of Devore. And it's just great, one on top of the other. So that's the combination I have on my lips. It's just a great kind of basic everyday lip look. And then some other lip products that I've been really loving and reaching for. These both are gold in nature. So this Bobbi Brown Nourishing Lip Color in Beige Gold, I've been loving. And maybe, again, I mentioned this in last month's favorites. I apologize if I'm being way too redundant, but I just love this. Hope you can see that. Do you like my L-shaped swatch? What was that? Sorry. But do you see that like reflect, and the beiginess in it is kind of like borderline peach? It's stunning. And a lot of times if I'm wearing a lipstick, I will just throw this gloss on top. And this is the Chanel Rouge Cocoa Gloss in 712. I think the name of this is Melted Honey. And this is just a wonderful, wonderful gloss. It's kind of the same idea as the Bobbi Brown. It has a little bit of warmth to it, so it makes me think it's a little bit peachy. That one is great. And I like these Chanel glosses. They're like a good basic kind of gloss. A little bit sticky, but not too much pigment. They'll definitely let whatever underneath shine through. Really great formula. Love those. And then one last thing I want to mention is a brush. So I've already mentioned the Sculpt 3 brush. This has been great for those highlighters I mentioned. I think I may have mentioned this already. This is the Trish McEvoy 55 Deluxe Blender Brush. This is sable hair. I love this for concealer. I also love this for any kind of cream products. If I need like a concentrated kind of application for it, this is really, really great for that. But the brush I want you to mention was this Sigma P82 brush. This is the brush that I used all throughout concealer week, and this is just a really great brush for like cream products. I love the dome top. I love that it's synthetic, so it's really easy to care for, especially when using cream products. I feel like I can wash these with like water and a cleanser more often than I can with natural hair brushes, and that just makes me feel a little bit better, especially when I'm using like cream products and it gets so like gunky. So I've been loving these, and I even have a backup of it. And then finally, I just want to mention a YouTube channel that has become one of my favorites. So I figured, why not mention it in my favorites? And that would be Kate the Great Beauty. And I will link to her channel down below. I can't even remember how I came across her. I think maybe one of my friends directed me over to her. They're like, you got to watch this girl. She's hysterical. She is hysterical. I love her videos. She always features a cocktail of some sort and does a quick tutorial with what she's doing. She's just amazing. And we started chatting, and her parents live in Las Vegas, but she currently lives in New York City. So we have this kind of like flip-flop life, and we really bonded over like bitching about New York, because I love New York. It will always be my home. It will always be like my blood. But like any other kind of family member, you love and hate it all at the same time. So we really bonded over New York, and she loves Vegas, and you know, we were kind of talking about like the magical desert. Anyway, she's great. And I really like her tutorials. You know, I am not someone that watches a lot of tutorials. I don't know, I find that they just don't hold my attention. You know, it's not that they're not good or that I'm not learning anything, because I have a lot to learn, but hers are just so entertaining and they're very informative. So anyway, give her a watch. She's wonderful. Again, I'll link to her channel down below, but she has fast become one of my favorite channels. So definitely give her a watch. But that's it for this month's favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down below in the comment section what some of your favorites are, and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you in my next video.